So in a recent video, I talked about certain mythical zoan fruits having baked-in genders assigned to them based on the deity in question within. And I was having a conversation in the comment section of that video with Will of Dreams, frequent commenter, subscriber, and a moderator on my Discord, the Digital Pharaoh, and we were discussing Nika specifically. And he pointed out that Bonnie can become Nika, and that is what made me think about Nika in general. Because the funny thing about Nika, as opposed to say maybe Zazo or possibly Moo or whatever Emu's fruit is that when Nika is talked about, I think any time in which he's referred to as a he is in accordance with Luffy. Kind of like how when Luffy first awakened and the five elders were talking about his Dough fruit, I think that is the only time when a pronoun is assigned to Nika. Otherwise, it's very ambiguous as to what gender Nika is. Because, say, like when you hear people talk about him in Elbaf, the depictions of Nika are always a black silhouette, but the clothes are white. And then even when you're talking about Remo Shifu's nightmare creature that's meant to resemble Nika, that too is a blackened figure in white clothes. So I think the overall message might be with Nika that anybody can be Nika. Because the nature of Nika, I think, is both metaphorical and literal. Because metaphorically, it is a symbol of humanity's want to be free from oppression. Then that want to be free from oppression manifests in a warrior of liberation that then fights upon those people's behalf. Based on the nature of how Dough fruits are created, this makes sense because we know that Dough fruits are born from the wishes and dreams of people, the want to be this or that. So I could see why that makes sense, but that's why I say Nika being genderless makes more sense than something like, say, Zazo or possibly Moo, if that's the name of Emu's Dough fruit, because it points to the general concept of freedom, and then Nika just so happens to be the symbol of freedom in that way. So that's why I think someone like Bonnie can become Nika, because she too believes in the value of freedom, and her Dough fruit allows her to literally take on that form after observing it from Luffy doing the same thing. However, with that being said too, we know from the Giants of Elbaf reaction that Nika isn't specifically male, because when Bonnie and Luffy both assume the form of Nika, they just say, oh, two Nikas. It's never really clarifying that, oh, I thought Nika was a male or anything like that. So in that way, that's how we know Nika as a whole is just a genderless figure that represents the freedom of humanity, which is fitting because Nika is a human fruit. But with that being said, if you're enjoying the video so far, click the like button. And if you want to see more from me, click the subscribe button, followed by that bell so you never miss a video. In addition to, if you could, hit the hype button because it really does help. And finally, with that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede Works.